Hey everybody, welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset.
All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertsen. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. and Coach Sam Rhee, and we found two guys off the street today to come and join us on the Herd Fit Podcast. I have two really special guests. This is the Bison Fitness ownership here. This is the first time all four of us have been on a podcast, and we are going to spend the next, 45 minutes to an hour talking about all things Bison and Outlast Fitness and everything that we're offering to you guys as our membership in our community. But before we get into that, just me, the person that has been in ownership the longest here, I actually just want to publicly thank all three of these guys. This is not in the outline, by the way. It's been a really interesting year and a half, and I really feel like we work together as a team like a family would. Like we've gotten in arguments with each other. We've gotten in fights with each other. We've had to take our time away from each other, but we've also really come back stronger and united and come up with some really interesting ideas for the future of Bison. And I feel like right now, the overall product, when I take a step back from what we are right now and I compare it to everything that we've been in the past, we are truly constantly evolving. We're trying to push the needle and make things better for one reason and one reason only. The reason we're trying to make things better here is to improve the product for our members and our community. And that is, when we kind of boil it down to everything, what are we actually trying to do here? It's trying to help and serve others in a lot of different ways. And it's been that way since 2014. And we've always had thoughts and dreams of this being more than just a CrossFit gym. We wanted this to be a one-stop shop, but we didn't have the resources back then. People, money, space, availability, everything. And in time, we grew the right way. We grew nice and slowly. And then at the right time, with new ownership, we really kind of put our talents together, put some funds together, obviously. And I feel like we are on a trajectory right now that we've never truly been on. And I'm really excited. And I want to thank these three guys, Sam all the way to my right, Mike DaSilva to my right, immediate right, and Adam Hawkinson to my left. These guys don't want people knowing what they do for Bison. And I understand there's a humility factor behind that, but I want everyone listening to know that these guys have done so many things that none of you are ever going to know about or even notice in the gym that have made this place better. And I'm really thankful for these guys. I'm really excited to talk shop here for the next hour. Sam, you've been on the staff, the second longest on the staff. And I'm always, you to me, I consider you like a thought leader. Like I always want your opinion on things. And the past year and a half have been kind of, I don't want to call it rocky at all. It's just been up and down. We started a new gym. We've hired a new full-time coach. We moved the full-time coach over here. We've hired, 9 new coaches between the two places. What has that change been like for you personally over the last year and a half, going from member to coach to now an owner?
It feels foundational. It really feels like laying the groundwork for the future. There are a lot of things that had to change to move to the next phase of things. Like this was just not you covering 40 classes a week and, just like 5 people per class. Like we've really gotten to that next level. But in order to sustain that and to realize that plan, like you said, of a comprehensive center where we're helping on multiple aspects, like we had to make some serious framework changes. And I think that that's what it felt like to me, was like we are reshaping the framework, the ground on which this gym has been built. And it's been so gratifying.
And I like what you said there is, for a long time, to a fault, and I'll admit this, I was always like, hey, let's get through this next week. Let's get through today. Let's get to the next open. And when I talk to you guys and I get challenged by all three of you, it's really about setting this up. You said it, for the future. Like in 10 years, what can we be? And when we make decisions, that is as much of a decision, as part of the decision, as it is getting through this next week, next year. DaSilva, Mike, I grew up with Mike. A lot of people know that, but just to remind you, I moved into Midland Park when I was in 3rd grade, and Mike was one of the first kids I met back there, and we've always kept in touch. OG Bison member, one of our first 10 members. A lot of people don't know that either. When we opened in 2014, he was one of the founding 10 people that came here. And he has a very established business background, a very big picture, very different background than mine. And this is where the combination of experiences and talents and perspectives, if done correctly, can make everything better. So you come in with a slightly different background, D. How's this been a year and a half? This is a very unique business in my opinion, and I think you're starting to see that or have already started to see that. What's this been like compared to some of the other things that you've been involved with?
Yeah, so I think it's been second.
You're good.
Right up
Yeah,
to it.
Right up to it.
It's been
There you go.
it's been a complete learning experience. It's nothing like I've ever had to invest in and work through before. I think that starts with kind of, the people that you're partners with. I've never been partners with friends and people that you associate with in your personal life. So that was one, trick to it. And then the entire business model of owning a CrossFit gym and being a part of the community, you don't look at it from the perspective of how you would look at other businesses. You look at it from, these are the people that we serve and what can we do to make this community better. That's number one priority, and then everything else follows through behind that. But getting back to how you started this, Dave, and kind of thanking us, none of this could be possible without you and you driving the boat. Like, we come up with ideas and we say, Dave, what do you think? And you shoot it down immediately if it's completely ridiculous, which is fine, and because some of the ideas are ridiculous. But then you embrace you've over the last 18 months you've embraced a different thought process, right? You've seen what you've built, and now you're thinking a little bit bigger, and you serve 300-400 people, but it's really now, how can you serve them beyond this place and in different ways? And that kind of, we'll get into what else we're doing.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be able to clean bathrooms here at CrossFit Bison? By the way, Sunday mornings, if you want to see this guy work, Sunday mornings between 7 and 8, the guy is on his hands and knees, literally cleaning bathroom floors. So that's something that a lot of people don't know about DaSilva.
Don't tell my wife. So.
Can't even fold his own lawn.
And now Hawkinson, kind of like a personal connection to Hawk, and just how much I respect him. A veteran of the U.S. Army, and I have a brother in the military and that's always been something I always kind of look up to Adam for. There's a different perspective on life in general. Former business owner at the UPS store, a guy that did the grind. I watched him go through the stress. We trade stories back and forth, and it's amazing when someone has been through that. You speak a similar language on certain things where you kind of like head nod and you're like, yeah, I completely get it. And having him involved, and Hawk has been a guy since I would say since his second year of membership, where he's always trying to find something that most other people don't see that would make the gym better. The simplest things in the world, like keeping a door open with an actual instrument that is meant to do that, rather than our 25-pound dumbbells that would go bad. And the grass, all this kidding aside, he sees a level of detail that makes this place just a little better. If you multiply that by 10, like, the place literally looks better since Hawk's been in charge of that. And I think those are things that make the gym better from that regard, and it makes you feel better when you're here, when you're working out. And it's it's an attention to detail that I've always noticed from a consumer side, right? I'm a member of other things. I'm a client of other people, right? When you see them put all these extra attention into little details that most people don't think matter that much, that's when you start to respect that product and that company more. And I think that's where Hawk's specialty is. When you joined Hawk, was there any thought of ownership, or was it just, hey, I'd like to help out where I can?
No, because one of my first workouts was Karen, and I was about to quit after I was getting no rep. I thought this was ridiculous, and the fact that I was watching everybody else do it and not me, I was ready to leave. But when we turned the page, especially once we moved to this location, that's where I really wanted to jump in, do whatever I could to make it better. Because I look at, once I became part of the ownership, the gym itself is like our house. The members are our family. So things that, like, I look at small little details. If it's at your house, you want your fence to look better. You want to put fresh coat on it, grass, you want it well kept. Little things like that, I just want to do because I know members will appreciate it. So same thing, you go into the bathrooms, little things that, like, I'm like, I wish I could do this. I'm like, might as well do it, because if I like it, somebody else will. And if not, then Susan will tell me and I'll fix it. I'll go back to the way it was.
remember hearing Austin Maliello said one time, he goes, if you want me to evaluate a CrossFit gym, he goes, two things. Show me how many people have been here over 5 years and show me your bathrooms.
Yeah.
Those are the two things.
Yeah.
And it is. And that's something I'm not good at. I don't have good detail. I don't have my brain on that. And Hawk's been a huge help in that regard. And I'm really kind of, again, just proud of the three of us. And sorry, the SOP Fest is almost over, guys. Really what we're trying to do here, as DaSilva mentioned, is we're trying to take this place to new heights while maintaining our culture. And I've heard this line a few times. It's like, oh, like it's not what it used to be. And it's not. It's not just a CrossFit gym with 8 classes a day. We're all like, you know, young, full of energy, no kids, all the time in the world. We can hang out for 2 hours after every class. Things are very different here. Our demographic is on average 10 years older than it was 10 years ago. And I think there's the reason behind that. A lot of people have stayed and we're all older. And there's a lot of different demands and needs, and we have a lot more resources now, whether it be time, money, and people. I mean, we have a lot of people that want to genuinely help this place, that are capable of helping this place. And now we're giving them opportunities to kind of maximize their skill set to, again, help the community. So that's kind of, we've always wanted this place to be somewhere where anyone from outside, anybody can walk in and find value here. Whether you're trying to be a CrossFit Games athlete, shout out Alex in Arizona right now doing his thing, whether we have someone bouncing back from having their 3rd baby, whether we have someone that have anxiety issues that wants to come off their medication, that's happened multiple times here because of CrossFit. No matter what, you can come in here and get a tremendous value out of this place. So that's kind of like our why behind what we do. But now we're actually going to talk about what we're offering, because we've added a lot. We really have added a lot. And DaSilva said, you know, shoot ideas and Dave shoots them down. I've had 100 ideas for this place and almost all of them do not work. And that's part of being an entrepreneur. That's part of being a business owner. And same, I want to shout out our coaches too. Coaches have brought a lot of really good ideas to us. Some of them work, some of them don't for a lot of different reasons. But we have thrown a few things on the wall that have stuck, and we're going to talk about them. We want you guys to know exactly what we're doing. So we've all kind of taken a different new section of Bison's business that is both for CrossFit, Bison, and Outlast Fitness. And we're going to express to you like what this is for, what you guys can get out of it, and we'll have a little roundtable discussion on it. So we're going to start off with something that just went down literally about 10 minutes ago. It's our stretch class. Some call it yoga, some call it mobility. We're calling it stretch because at the end of the day, most people that come to Outlast and Bison, we hear it all the time. They need to stretch more. We see it all the time. They need to stretch more. Sam, give us some quick info on what stretch is. You've been participating in class. You participate with Kristen on a personal basis. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you're, the first question you should ask yourself is, am I so mobile that I don't need extra mobility work? And I think there are very few people in any athletic endeavor who feel that way. The second question is are you motivated enough to do this by yourself at home? Because if you can, great. Pull up the YouTube videos. ROMWOD was very popular for a while. There were a lot of ways to do that. But that's not why I do CrossFit. I do CrossFit because I come into the gym. I could do it at home. I have a gym at home, but I need people around me. Mobility is something I've been interested in for a really long time, like 5 years. I met Kristen 5 years ago. It was like before COVID. And it was because I knew my mobility sucks. And I said, all right, I'm going to try yoga. And so I went down to the real hot yoga place down in Glen Rock. And yoga is no joke. It's really, 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 really hard. And it's hard to learn. And there's a very different philosophy to it. I would go back and forth to it. And Kristen is an amazing instructor. We actually had her at our house during COVID to do some private lessons with me and Susan. And it really works. The issue with yoga, straight up yoga, is that it's not necessarily appealing to everyone. There's a spiritual philosophy and some other stuff with it that, you know, some people are really into, some people are not. The funny thing is that Kristen came to us like this past year and said, hey, do you want to offer a stretch mobility class for your athletes? And the answer was absolutely yes. And she's a grinder. Like, she teaches at 3 other places. She had, you know, many years of experience in addition to like a decade plus of her own personal practice. But the difference with Kristen, and I've seen that in our stretch mobility class here, is that she is not a purist. Like, she is very adaptable in terms of knowing our capabilities as CrossFit athletes, like what we can do. And in fact, I have seen her in classes actually change up movements on the fly just because she realizes, oh, this is really what they need, more shoulder work. Maybe we were doing more overhead work this week. And so she is so good at hybridizing it. So you feel good. You don't feel beat up during the mobility. I can tell you, I personally have always felt much better after every mobility class that I've taken with her. And we've tried to get her for as many of these classes as possible. And most of them are on Saturdays or Tuesdays or Thursdays. I think we have one on the 15th and then the one on the 20th of this week and or of this month. And the biggest thing about this is that if she offers a similar class on Sundays over at Real Hot, but the drop-in rate, $28. Unless you're a monthly member. For us, we're charging less than half of that, or yeah, about half. So it's a huge win because you get to do it here. You get to pay, what is it, $15 right now?
Yep,
15, which for an hour is like a total steal just to be able to move and stretch. And I will tell you that our capabilities as athletes depend so much on what we do, not in the WOD, but outside the WOD. And this mobility, tremendous. I don't know. What do you guys think in terms of what you've taken with the class and what your assessment of it is so far?
I personally need to get in, but with the kids' schedule with Taekwondo right now, things are a little hectic, but definitely want to get in, kind of see where I'm at, and use that as a gauge to, further stretch and get more mobility with a lot of stuff. Pretty embarrassing when we do wall-facing squats. I'm almost a foot away from the wall, so I need to work on ankle mobility. But that's where I need to get in.
Yeah, I've been to every class other than today. Just had a busy morning, and so I think that was that 7 classes or 8 classes or 6, and she's amazing in that, like Sam said, she can kind of dumb it down to me that's not that loose, right? I'm a little tight, things hurt a little bit. And she's very good at explaining. I've been to yoga classes a lot over the years where it's like a CrossFit coach. A good coach makes everything. It makes all the difference. It makes me feel more comfortable when she's there. I've had yoga instructors where I'm not comfortable at all, and I never went back for that reason. And coaching is everything. The leadership is everything. And in regard to the schedule, we touched on that. That's one big thing. When anyone brings an idea to me, my number one devil's advocate is the schedule, the routine, the logistics. How do we do this? How do we do that? What are we going to move around? And it's tough. She is a hustler, Kristen, and I'm so thankful that she's been giving us this Saturday 10:45 hour because the gym's empty at that point. But we have done Tuesday and Thursday night classes with a CrossFit class going on 2 walls down, and you can hear in there. And to me, it's almost like I'm distracted by it at the start of the class, but the second she takes over, it's her room. She puts a little bit of music on, does some stuff with the lights. I'm so locked into the stretch that I forget that there's a class going on. And she's really gifted in that regard. And I've had even people say, Dave, your squat looks better. Like the depth is a lot better. There's no butt wink. My knees have been feeling better. And I really think it's only because of the stretch class. And I won't do it on my own. I think, Sam, that's a good point. D, you're not Mr. Yogi, but you've been you've been to a stretch class, right?
I've been to 2 of them, and I watched today. I purposely didn't do today because I wanted to watch Kristen and like just kind of get a feel for how she approaches coaching. And I think that other coaches, if you watch her coach, and I'm not a coach, obviously, never will be, but I think if you watch her coach and the way she approaches, like just the beginning of class, she walked up to every single person and said, "How are you feeling today?" I've been to yoga classes that the person walks in the door, turns up the heat, puts on the music, and Sam's got his shirt off 2 minutes into it, and you're stretching, and there's no like.
That's what you're noticing.
Yes. So I think she's fantastic. I think she's convenient, and I think that everything that she does in that class is accessible for everyone.
And it's been a big hit. The numbers, we've had last week, we had a class of 21. That was the second class that we've had 20 plus people in a yoga class. And I really hope people continue to take advantage of it being at Bison. Again, another reason was we want you to come here to fill whatever cup you need for that day. Sometimes it's nutrition, sometimes it's lifting, sometimes it's Outlast, sometimes it's stretching. And I really think that as long as we can keep her on this weekly run, whether it's a Tuesday, Thursday night, or Saturday at 10:45, schedules are tough. We know, Hawk, kids' schedules, I mean, ours are crazy as well, and I don't have one. But if you can make it a priority to get here for at least this class when you're able, you will walk out of here better. End of discussion. And I think, and it's as Sam said, it's a very respectable, cheap rate compared to what you would have to pay if you take a class of hers somewhere else. So next up, this is something that has been, I think it's probably like the hot topic of Bison right now, and it's power nutrition. And we had just started off the first ever power nutrition weight loss challenge, and we're going to have different challenges throughout the year. This one had a focus of weight loss, and we have over 50 people signed up from Bison and Outlast combined. It's being run by Kayla and Kelly. We've had them on the Herd Fit podcast just a few weeks ago if you want to go listen back to some of their background and some of how they're going to approach power nutrition moving forward. But DaSilva, this is something that when he became an owner, he started pushing right away. And we take our time with things. We don't like to rush. We want to do it right. And it took a year to get this going. And there's a lot that goes into it. We don't need to go into that why. But this is something that Dee did bring up right away. That's something we're really missing the boat on. Because we all know this, guys. Nutrition is the foundation to everything you do. If you're trying to be fit and healthy, nutrition has to be a huge part of that, not something that you might do after you work out. So Dee, I want you to touch on power nutrition a little bit.
Yeah, so we started it. This is week 5 coming up. Last week the challenge was no alcohol, which I was on vacation, so I completely did not do that one that well. But I think that when people talk about nutrition and then talk about working out, and I'm nowhere near know anything about nutrition, and that's why I'm doing the program. But when you come to work out, you're here for an hour, right? Nutrition is completely different, and that's what has really kind of hit me with this nutrition challenge. It's an all day thing. It's a full-time commitment. There's no just come and do it for an hour. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. I'm eating this. I'm drinking enough water, fiber. Like you're thinking about things that you wouldn't generally think about. And as hard as everyone works out in Bison and in Outlast, it's 2 times, maybe 3 times as hard to do the nutrition part, but it's also 2 to 3 times as important, because if you're eating like shit outside of the gym, anything that you do in there, it's not complimentary. If you get both sides of it tied together, I think it works beautifully. There's ups and downs to it, and it's definitely a mental game, which I wasn't prepared for either. But getting back to kind of what we were talking about with Kristen and the mobility, like Sam has known Kristen for a long time. You've known Kristen. Like we watch people. We make sure that the people that we're bringing in and spearheading these initiatives are the right people. And Kay and Kelly, they've been here forever. Like they're fantastic human beings. We've pushed around the idea of who we were going to do for this, who we were going to use for this program, and they stood out after every single meeting. So kudos to them. They're doing a fantastic job, and I think that the ceiling for that is limitless.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, nutrition could be a monster. Sorry, nutrition could be a monster program. It could be its own huge business. And I've talked to Kayla and Kelly about that. And I really think those two are going to take it as far as they want to. They both have very busy, demanding schedules. Kayla is a coach at Bison. Kelly is a coach here at Outlast. And they're both very dedicated to family and career and things that they have going on outside of this. But if they want to make it huge, it can get huge. And we're really happy. I'm glad Dee brought that up, that they've been staples here. I mean, I would say Double K right there they've been staples here at Bison. Yes, Kayla's been here since 2014, and Kelly came right around COVID. But since then, just absolute staple. Everyone knows her. The amount of support that the community showed her with what her son went through just shows how much people really do value her, respect her, and it's only the beginning for Power right now. Hawk, we have a little owner competition on that InBody machine coming up. You guys better not be cheating and checking your scores right now.
Sam's not doing it.
Yeah.
He said he's not doing it.
No. I don't need a.
That was one of the funniest text Sam's ever sent the group one time. He goes, "You guys can go compare your body fat percentages to each other." But, we've done Reset. We've done the wrong challenges. You've been a part of all that, Hawk. What feels different about this from your perspective now that you're kind of on this side of it?
Definitely getting more feedback from the members. When I did it before, it was more of me. What do I like? What do I don't like? Maybe I'll throw this out and try this and, up, macros or do whatever. But now it's getting feedback from members where it's like, what do they like? What do they find challenging? And then you're getting good and bad information, whether it's like, okay, we need to tweak a little bit here, or you give Kelly and Kayla some information where they can now take that and do another challenge, take that going forward. I know when I do these challenges, I can feel my body different when I work out. Sometimes I'll hit a certain level and I'm like, okay, this week I feel banged up. Now, is it the workouts that we were doing, or is it because I'm not getting as much nutrition, or I'm trying to scale something back? So then I play around with the foods. I'm basically at a point where I'm a child. I eat the same thing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that's what works for me. I've seen Hartman with Kayla and have tweaked some things where I'm not getting as many carbs, but I'm getting more fats in for the fuel. I think overall, it's just a great method to keep going and find out what your body's capable of.
Yeah, and we're going to touch on this a little bit towards the end, but the price point of this stuff can be tough to figure out. We've done some market research for quite a bit of time, Kelly, Kayla, and myself, in terms of like, what do you charge for a monthly nutrition coach? Because it's not just the nutrition challenge that we're doing. They have a couple handfuls of clients that they meet based on what level they have of nutrition coaching. And I've worked with them both in that regard as well. But this year, I do want to put this out there that Reset is a nutrition challenge that we've done for a long time. It's kind of like a Bison only thing. At the end of the day, it was a spreadsheet of you kind of logging if you were good or bad, or like with your water, your sleep, your alcohol, your food, and your working out. And Kelly and Kayla, their system, in my opinion, no shame in saying this, is a lot better than anything I ever did. I could hear Sam just like nodding his head. I go, no, but it's true. And I really think part of it is they have the resources and the talent to really lean into that. Like there's just, at some point you need to know what you're good at, what you're not good at. And those two are excellent at that. And it's a lot, but I've also seen, I've been in meetings with them multiple times. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I believe from a consumer perspective, if you are investing into this, paying a fee for the challenge, you will try harder. And when you give freebies away, which is Reset has always been a freebie, and we saw this every year. There's probably 8 years of data behind that would support this. 2 weeks in, pretty much everyone gives up. They just kind of, they clock out. They tap out, I should say. So Reset this year, it'll be for a fee, and it'll be similar to what we just charged for the weight loss challenge. And we'll have a different kind of angle than just weight loss, because we know not everyone is trying to lose weight. But it's something that I think we should lean into, that, these two are working their butts off for a long time. And I also think paying any sort of fee makes you try harder. And at the end of the day, our goal is to help you reach your goal. And it is that simple. So we have to find ways that will help that happen. And that really is going to be kind of like the future of Reset, or whatever those two want to call it, and the future of Power Nutrition. D, anything else that you want to touch on? You've been a part of the Zoom calls. You've seen these two in action. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on to the next topic?
I think they're really thoughtful about how they approach it and how they approach everyone individually. Like I've emailed them both separately on the side, and I've asked them kind of the same question, and just to see how they respond to it. And they're very much on the same wavelength. Like to find two nutritionists that work together and have the same kind of methodology and thoughts behind the methodology is different.
Now, we've done a few different episodes on what Outlast is and how it's going. We've had Mike D on. Sam and I have talked about it a couple of times. I want to kind of spend some time talking about this, because even after all these months, we're 6-7 months in, guys, by the way, congrats, that we have found a flow over there with our schedule, with our coaching, with the programming even. And I still think there's a lot of kind of maybe uncertainty or unknown behind it. And we're going to have Hawk touch on just a few of the things of blending these two together. Does that mean, hey guys, pay 2 memberships to us? No, you can if you want. You
Yes.
have that's only for you. But we have a handful of people paying for memberships at both in terms of unlimited monthlies. But we have over 40 people that are members at Bison or members at Outlast that are paying for a 10-pack at the other. And take the business side out of it, because at the end of the day, that's not the relevant component to this. It's what does this provide for people that, let's be honest, they're getting burnt out at one, or they feel like they're losing at one. What does Outlast offer those kinds of people, Hawk?
I wish we would have had this a little sooner. When I had my knee injury, I guess a year ago, I got to the point where scaling something back is only fun for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And when you're the only one on the bike, when everyone's going out for a run, you just want to stop, or you're like, you know what, let me just take a week off. Not that you're scaling back, because I've had my butt kicked in Outlast when Kelly was coaching for the 25-second sprint on the row, the ski, and then on the runner. It's something that you can either not dial back, but you can hone in on what you need done. There's a lot of tempo squats, whether you're using dumbbells for bench pressing versus the barbell, putting your shoulders in a better position. There's a lot of things that you can do over here that you can help work on certain aspects of your fitness. And like you said, if you're getting burned out at one or the other, it gives a fresh rejuvenation to working out. New people you get to talk to. Mike Del Toro's been crushing it over here. I don't know how you can keep programming multiple classes, because I try to do programming for myself sometimes. I'm like, I'll find something online, and then I hate it. Yeah. But over here, it's the same community, but a little different. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I love that you said that at the end, because to me, I work out at both, I coach at both. And the macro level vibe to it is the same. It's like very friendly, it's warm, but it's also hard. It's intense. You are going to be pushed. You are going to be uncomfortable. You're going to do things you don't want to do. But when you're in a room with people that you trust, coaches, but also athletes and members as well, you're much more willing to do it. You're smiling on the way out, and you want to come back. The gym is no longer a liability, it's an asset to you. So we have that at both. However, it is very different. If I did a week at Bison and a week at Outlast, it would be very different. And we want that. We don't want them to be similar. We want you to be like, hey, I need to get a break from trying to compete in the gym every single day and trying to beat everyone and moving poorly and making bad decisions and putting all of my self-worth into what people think about my score, right? I'm going to go to Outlast and really focus on my quality of movement. At the end of the day, you should be doing that at either, but it's harder to do that at Bison because of what we've made that place to be. But when I leave Outlast, I've said this a million times and I've heard it a million times. I feel better the next day than when I do at Bison. And I'm going to say that at Outlast, I want that to be known. If I work out at Outlast, I feel better the next day, usually, than where I do at Bison. If I work out at Outlast every day, I feel like I lose some of what I like to get out of fitness. I'm different than most people, and so are you guys. But you get a different level of, not accomplishment, but a different level of, hey, you earned something. You really went dark. You went hard at Bison. And that's where, but there's a shelf life behind that. And the number I pulled up people that used to work out at Bison that left for whatever reason, nothing personal. It's like, hey, I don't like it anymore. I don't want to snatch. I don't want to touch barbells. I don't want to go on the rig. It's not fun. I lost my friends. Over 24 of them have been members at Outlast. So imagine we did not open this place. We would have never seen them again. And now we're helping them again. And that is the biggest smile on my face that I'll ever feel from Outlast. It's like, we thought we were done. And now we're here doing the same. It's almost like I have some like nostalgic feelings when I coach Sherry and Kayla G. Like, they're here and I love being around them. And it's great. Sam, do you think you'll ever see people, this is a trick question, by the way, leave Bison full-time Outlast and leave Outlast, go full-time Bison?
Yeah, we've seen both already.
You're right. Good.
Yeah.
Job. Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, I was just thinking about one of the guys that make me the most happy is Outlast guy, Chris. I forget his last name.
Fandora.
Dude came to Outlast, and I took a couple classes with him, and I was like, this guy's good. Like, he's athletic. Like, he's pushing it. And then I saw him the other day, and I think it might be his like 3rd or 4th week on the CrossFit, on the Bison side. And I was like, what? And he is crushing it on that side. Like, he is a quick learn, very athletic. And you're right. There's a difference in terms of attitude. Like, I was just thinking about it. So Friday's workout was the 4 rounds, 15 toes to bar, the hang cleans, and then 10 hang cleans and 5 thrusters. Yeah. And then after that, it was like a 1 rep max hang clean, or clean, hang clean, jerk. Yeah. And so that is very intense. It put a lot of fear in me. Like, I was thinking, okay, what do I do on the barbell? Like, how do I break up the toes to bar? How do I do, like, what is my number going to be? And I've done this for over 10 years, and the workout still instilled fear, but fear in like an adrenaline good way. Like, I was kind of looking forward to like seeing what I could do with it. And that's great. But if I do that all the time, I am going to be destroyed. I will destroy. I have destroyed myself. Yeah. So on those days where I need to get my fitnessing in, but I also don't want to feel like that part of it, I have come to the Outlast side, and the intensity is not any less. It's just more, usually longer, and you can't sprint through it. It's not like sprint, rest. Like, you have to maintain an intensity for the whole workout. And those have always helped me. And I think that the philosophy that I've gotten now as I've grown in my fitness experience is I need Outlast workouts too. And I kind of flip back and forth. I will always be a CrossFit person just because of what I just talked about. But the Outlast side will help my longevity in terms of fitness for decades. Like, and I could see a lot of people in CrossFit feel like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm not there. The fact that we have over 20, plus people on the Outlast side, and I see them all the time, makes me so happy when I come here. They're pushing it. They are getting super fit, and they feel a very welcoming environment because you're not, competing against yourself mostly like you do when you're on the other side.
What I've found it's so interesting about, like, Dave, when we get people that come to, like, we have something called, it's Push Press. It's the app that we use. Yeah. And then there's a side of it called Grow, which is fantastic. And that's for people that reach out to us and ask questions and want to, become a part of the community. And we say to them, like, all right, you're reaching out to us for CrossFit Bison, but come in, we'll give you a tour of the 2 different gym concepts that we have. And for you to be able to offer 2 different methodologies for someone that's walking in the door focusing on one, I think that is a differentiator for Bison Fitness as a brand and as a business. Like, people come in and you're showing them Bison, but by the way, hey, here's Outlast, and this is what Outlast is, or vice versa. Here's Outlast, and by the way, if you want to kind of be more intense, and this is not right for you, we have 2 solutions to meet you where you are, and I think that's the future of kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, pay attention, CrossFit HQ, to be honest with you. And I have had conversations about Outlast with them, and I have had them ask for updates on how it's going. And I'll die on this hill that we're here to help people through fitness, community, and health. We're not here to only do CrossFit. And Hawk touched on something that, whether you agree with it or not, you have to lean into it because it's the objective truth. That, yes, everyone, if we shut down Outlast tomorrow and we said, hey guys, come over to Bison, we'll scale everything, we'll keep you safe. That is the truth. But they're not, a lot of them will not want to, because they're not going to feel good when they leave the gym. They're going to be like, oh, I'm the only person over here. I'm not touching the bar. I don't want to go on the rig. I don't want to put grips on. I don't want to put chalk on. Love that about Outlast, by the way.
No chalk.
No chalk. They want to feel a different way while they're working out, where Sam touched that emotional component, Sam, of butterflies and nervous. It's kind of like we like it. We don't like it, but we like it. But we don't want to do it every day. And at some point, maybe you won't like that. That doesn't mean you suck. Doesn't mean you're soft. Doesn't mean your fitness life is over. D, would you be comfortable talking about, I mean, I personal trained your wife for a long time, and she's like, hey, like CrossFit's not for me. And your father-in-law, who I think he might be the oldest guy in our gym. And by the way, if you look at Built to Outlast check-ins on the month, he was at the top.
Yeah. Wow.
And the oldest guy in the gym. And he's got, I mean, I've known that guy since I was in 3rd grade. He was my first football coach. He still scares me, by the way. But he's always been a strength, fitness, intense guy, and he's had some physical issues. But the guy's here grinding all the time in Outlast. I don't think that would have worked at Bison.
100%. That guy, I call him the big guy. He's done marathons. He's done everything. Really, really strong guy, both mentally and physically. He came in here and he, as just to support us, right? Just to support what we were doing. He tried it out, and now, like you said, he's here every day. I think he always asks me questions about why you program things differently, but I think he's starting to understand kind of what we do here and why we do it. It's a little bit of a slow burn for him, and he's really embraced it. And I think that's kind of like the beauty of how you program. It's like the little subtleties in what you program that people don't think about, but at the end of the workout, it really hits them. And then for my wife, it's like, there's only so much you can talk to with your wife.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
I love my wife.
like I love your wife too.
Does your wife love? Yeah.
No, but like at the end of the day, you get home, your kids are in bed, and it's nice to be able to bond with your wife on other than like, oh, the kids had soccer, they had
Right.
this one. It's like, how did you like the workout today? What did you think about it? Or like she'll say to me like, Dave is nuts for doing that, and why did he do that? And I'm like, you're asking the wrong guy. But there's a lot of spouses in Outlast, which I thought about the other day, and it's nice to have that connection from a completely different angle in your day. Like, how was your day? How was your workout? Like, and that's something that you can bond on. And I think it's different.
Hawk, to wrap this up, for someone that out there and doesn't have like limitless funds of, hey, I can't afford 2 memberships. No, Dave, I can't pay monthly and 10-pack over here. Would you have a suggestion on what a path could be for someone that does want to do both, but those resources are not there? 2 months on, 1 month off, that kind of like switching back and forth. What would you recommend, knowing that, hey, I can't do CrossFit all the time, and you don't want to lose them. You don't want them to quit and never come back.
I personally would lean into the Outlast side to work on the fundamentals of your strength, your mobility. Then you can get your little stretch classes in. From there, if you're looking for that competitive aspect of fitness, then yeah, I could cross over to Bison. But I think, like you said, I do feel better after I have a couple of workouts. But like I always say, when I look at some workouts over here, I'm like, ugh, that looks so boring. I don't want to do this one.
Yeah.
But by the time you're done, you're like, wow, that was tough. And yes, I may be a little sore, but like by the next day, I feel much better than I would over at Bison, where I'm like, I'm sore for like 3 weeks sometimes. So I'm like, I need to get this checked out, figure out what's going on. But I definitely like leaning into the Outlast side. You can run inside versus going outside, getting hit by a car.
This time of year,
Yeah.
on the treadmills. Yeah, I mean, I like if you are kind of on the fence, lean into Outlast and do it for a month or two. Nothing's forever, right? And I'll tell you what, some of you guys, I understand the boredom comment, absolutely. I program the workouts. I'm like, yeah, like I love the for time, the AMRAPs, but sometimes boring is exactly what you guys need. And I think that's where you kind of have to relinquish some of your control and some of the biases that you've had 10, 15 years ago when you were a lot younger and a lot more able, and maybe you took care of yourself a little bit more, a little bit easier to sleep more and eat better and kind of pay attention to health. So I do recommend going back and forth. We have a few people that do that, month here, month there, month there, month here, based on how their body's feeling. And I think the case study there they're going to come out the best combination of healthy and fit. The people that do both.
The best value is the open gyms.
Yeah, right.
You can be an Outlast member and go to open gym at either one, and same thing with Bison.
Yeah.
Not many people utilize it, but
Not yet. Yeah.
you could be a Bison member and have Outlast gym, open gym every day it is, and then on Sundays too. Like the open gym that's the secret. It's the value.
Yeah. So we're going to touch on Next Level program. This is not a new addition, but there are some new components to it. And this is something that Bobby and myself are taking on. Bobby's one of our coaches at Bison, and he basically was kind of put in charge of Next Level when he came on, or maybe a little after he came on, and he started taking over a lot of the individual programming side. And I started this back in 2017 with one goal only. It was to help people that want to perform better. And you'll have CrossFit truthers say, hey, one workout a day is good enough for everyone. For most people, that is true, but it's not true. I do think you can get fitter by working out more. The problem, the disconnect, is if you do work out more, you have to put that much, if not even more, attention on the recovery and lifestyle component. And if you don't, you eventually will get hurt. You'll burn out. And I've seen that happen with Next Level. You're addicted to working out. You sign up, you pay, you get all these workouts, you do them, and then all of a sudden 3 months later, you're kind of burned out and or injured. So but the goal of Next Level has always been to help people get to their respective next level. No, it's not only for competitors. No, it's not only for people that want to make the games. It's for someone that wants to perform better, and they have the time, means, and ability to put that effort into it. And it's been a lot of fun since 2017. At my peak, I think I had 27 people on it at once, and it was too much for me. And that's back when it was like very templated. So I went down to the individual programming design side, and it's usually somewhere between 6 and 12 people at once being on it. And it's a huge, I don't want to say time suck. I want to say it's a huge commitment for a coach to program individually for that many people at once. And with all the things that we had going on at Bison and building Outlast and me trying to do a few different things, that's why it was given to Bobby for the time being. And now I'm back in it from the template side, where we're introducing a level 3 Next Level, and it has basically template programming for engine building, strength building, and mixed modal building. Mixed modal is basically just CrossFit, what you would normally do. Strength is I want to get stronger, pretty simple. And engine is basically I want my aerobic capacity and anaerobic ability to improve. And those workouts are obviously given to you 2-3 at a time. It's cheaper than the individual program design, and you could basically kind of pick and choose your spots throughout the week when to do it. Where when you're on the individual program side, it's a little bit more strict on when you have to do things. And who is this for? Because I get this question all the time. Should I do this? And I actually have tried to talk people out of it more than into it. I'm a classic terrible business salesman. And the reason is not I don't want to work with you. The reason is don't just work out more. I don't think it works. I like to hear about people's goals and their plans to supplement all this extra working out. If you don't have a plan to supplement all of the extra work you're going to be doing, if you're not going to eat more, if you're not going to try to put more attention on recovery, if you don't know how much protein you eat in a day, then this wouldn't be for you. It's just, in my opinion, it's kind of pointless, other than the fact that it's going to feed your workout addiction. But Hawk touched on something earlier. Why do this? Why not fold this, right? It's not a huge moneymaker. It takes a lot of time and commitment. I stress about it a lot. It's because people are going to go try to find some places to find workouts. It's going to happen. Hawk just said it on this podcast. He would go try to find a workout online. Why wouldn't you come to people that know you, that actually watch you do these workouts and coach you in the gym and can really kind of reason with you? I've had a virtual coach before, and one thing I hated was you almost never talk to each other. Every now and then you get like a thumbs up on a workout. But no, we can see, we can talk, we can conversate back and forth. And I think that's the biggest value of Next Level, that if all of your ducks are lined up to recover and live a healthy lifestyle, there's no question Bobby and myself will get you better at what you want to get better at. I have a lot of confidence in that if you meet me halfway and we kind of attack this together. Sam, you're one of my OG Next Level clients. And that span, you were crushing so many different things. Like you're lifting, your ring muscle ups, you were making the age group online qualifier.
What happened?
I got old, dude. I got really old.
And you can be honest about this too. This isn't not trying to sell Next Level. I want people to know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you see the positives behind it, but also give me a couple of the negatives for people that are thinking about it?
I think you touched on it. If you're going to do it, it's a commitment. And I love the fact that this is not something that's a hard sell. It's you're double checking to make sure that they have everything in place. I think when I had the ability to do it, it was fantastic. But if life gets in the way, your work gets really busy. You start sleeping less. You start having, kid sports and this, that, and the other thing, and you're being pulled 15 different ways. Yeah, is it gonna really So when does increasing your clean maximum from 205 to 225 make a difference? Like, if you're like, yeah, that makes a big difference to me, then yeah, rearrange your life, help get yourself there, and you can get there. And I will tell you, I look back, it's so funny. I look back at some of my videos, like they pop up sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, look at me clean that. I can't believe. I was like, look at that. You look at Dave yelling at me in that AGOQ event. Like, he's just screaming at me, and I'm like nodding and like working out. And I was like, those were really special. Like, I don't have that in like that desire now. Obviously, it's more about fitness and longevity, obviously. But boy, if you really want to chase it, there would be no better way to do this. And I am not even that like elite of an athlete in terms of what I did in high school or college or anything like that. But some of that was just pushing, what could my potential be? Could I really hit, 155 on a set? Could I really do these for reps? Could I do this? And it was fun. Like, it was a lot of fun to compete on that level. And we've all been there and drank that Kool-Aid. And I would say it's funny because people now are like, oh, I wish, this gym was like it was in the old days. Well, you know what? Old days were great, but how we train people now, so much better. And I would say the fact that Next Level has different tracks, including HYROX, which is what that L3 is really.
Yeah.
Like, that appeals to people in terms of like what their real fitness goals and aspirations are. And that's why when I hear people say that, I'm like, dude, you have no idea how much better CrossFit and our gym and training is at this point.
Now, Hawk, you've been on Next Level as a athlete under me as well, and you do get into the competitive scene. You sign up for the qualifiers, and I think you're like Sam. You want to see what your potential is. You're not waking up saying I'm going to beat Rich Froning in the games. Not this year, maybe next year. All right.
I leave that to you.
But it's why do it? Like, why did you do it? Because you had a specific goal that you were training for, but I think there's a few layers that go deeper than that when you're taking on new coaching, new programming. What is that?
So for me, I was very competitive when I used to wrestle in high school. I missed that when I got out and I joined the military. And then when I started CrossFit, that's when I really got back into, I want to see what my potential is, but I like being able to go after other people. Typically, whenever we go to a competition, I'm usually in the middle to the bottom of the leaderboard. I know where I stand because a lot of these guys end up beating me because of the strength component.
Yeah.
But when I was doing the Next Level, I got very comfortable of hitting my lifts between the 70 and 80% of like my 1 rep max. So when we go to workouts, especially when we do body weight workouts, the barbell feels so light. It feels so great. I love doing a lot of that stuff and building up my capacity on the rig, doing toes to bar muscle ups. But the competitiveness was always there. So I leaned into the Next Level to get there. My downfall was I do too much. And then, like you said, with the nutrition, I wasn't getting enough in.
Right.
So then with the busy life schedule, I'm not eating as much. And then next thing I know, my body's breaking down. And I'm like,
Yep.
All right, I'm 3 workouts behind and tomorrow's a heavy squat day. When can I get? So like that wasn't for me at that time. And it's like trying to find the right schedule to get back into it.
Yeah. I think a struggle of personal programming from a coach, blending it with the CrossFit Bison programming, is that they're not always, kind of related to each other. They can kind of not complement each other well. And that can actually add a stressor to some people that want to do both. Because I think a lot of people like the rush of being in the class, but they also want to have the focus of getting better. And there are days, here's an example. I did a little, I don't want to call it a seminar. I did like an hour session with people, whoever wanted to show up from the gym to work on muscle ups. Some people came for chest bar pull-ups. And I can tell while we were warming up, I'm like, they looked all pretty tired. and I was like, did you guys just do the Bison workout? That was tremendously grippy and heavy. Like I couldn't open up my hands for 5 minutes after that workout. And they're like, yeah, we worked out. And I'm like, it's tough. It's tough to come in and like, hey, I'm going to work on muscle ups, but I can't feel my forearms because I just did a really hard workout. And that kind of goes into some of the next level where you have to really plan things out a week ahead of time. And a lot of people can just not do that with the way their lives are set up. So that's a really tough thing to do.
To your point, what I would do sometimes is I would see a workout that you would have for me, and let's just say it's, rig work, and then doing the Bison workout would have something similar. So I'd be like, okay, I know I can do the workout and have no problem with it. Let me do the next level workout first.
Right.
And then see what I can hold on to for the workout as a competition side, where it's like you're going to be doing 3-5 workouts in one day. So I kind of want to see where I could hold on during the workout and then compare my score to everybody else. So that's what I did like doing something like that.
I think the last thing I was going to say real quick is if you are planning on, like a lot of people have goals, so they'll like work towards a HYROX event or something like that. This is where this kind of programming would really help a lot, because you could go to everyday class and prepare reasonably well for HYROX. But if you also wanted to see like what you could do for that HYROX programming, like that L3 mixed modal, like all that, like they would come to you and be like, listen, I have one in Vienna in June of next year. And then you'd be like, what could we get out of this so that I'm feeling really pumped for that? And that's really where I think this programming shines, is because if you have a goal, you have something, maybe it's your potential, maybe it's an event, like you could get this specific to help you for that particular goal.
Yeah.
Well, that was my question. Is next level 3 our approach to HYROX? Is that how you kind of think about it?
I mean, the engine component is, I would say, a part of it. Like in the description on the next level, it's like, hey, if I want to get I get that line all the time. I would say I get it 50 times a year. I want to get my engine better. And it's usually right after the open. But you have more and more people going towards HYROX that want to compete. They don't feel safe doing a CrossFit competition, or they just don't want to train for a CrossFit competition because they can't stay fresh and limber, and they're losing some mobility, and honestly, maybe even losing some desire, where HYROX is a much friendlier thing to go compete at, and it's very inclusive, and you feel safer doing it in a lot of ways. And I do think I want to say we've had over 24 people from our gym do one in the past 10 months. And that number's only increasing. People can't wait to sign up for New York City this year. And you know that if we don't provide something for them, they're going to go find something to do, a program to follow. And if we can blend our expertise with the experience of doing them, I think we can bring people to new heights with next level, level 3, mixed modal or engine aerobic capacity, to get them to that level to reach their peak as a HYROX athlete. So we can blend that into the conclusion here, guys, because we're going to talk about just another 5 to 10 minutes on where we're going next, what we have still in the scope. Are we done? We're never done. Like we don't want you guys to ever be like, oh, I've reached my fitness and health goals. I am going to take my foot off the gas, because we know what happens when you take your foot off the gas. All right, you get out of shape, you get fat, you get burned out of CrossFit, you cancel your membership, and all of a sudden 5 years ago, you're saying, man, I was really good shape 5 years ago. I think it's your responsibility as a human to keep your foot on the gas with health and fitness until you die. I do think that. It doesn't mean you need to do CrossFit comps every day and try to snatch 250, but your foot needs to be on the gas. And us as business owners, our foot is on the gas, and it's not coming off. I'm not even tapping the brakes. So all these things that we're talking about, just know this, all right? Adult FOMO is a real thing. And I've learned that through CrossFit Bison and the people that we've served for a long time. You feel like you're doing something wrong if you're not doing something beyond CrossFit. Let me tell you this, 80+% of the members only do classes here. That is our bread and butter. It is our foundation, and that will never change. The classes are our business. And if you are able and willing to do some extra stuff, programming, stretch, power nutrition, dual memberships, right? Go for it. We're there to support you. We're going to be there. But don't feel pressure that you feel like you have to do something or that we're sleazy car salesmen trying to squeeze every single penny out of you. I think the most important thing for you to know is that if you do need something extra, or if you want something extra, it's here. So if we talk about what is next in our scope, meaning our foot is on the gas, we've talked about different recovery recovery components, whether it be saunas and cold plunges. We've talked about personal training and trying to get some of our coaches to be a little bit more aggressive with that because there is a market for it. We've had members make money off of people that want more training. If you think about that, a challenge to some of you coaches. Seminars, Pam Gagnon coming in, and we had that thing sold out in I think a week or two. HYROX, we just talked about it. Consistent kids training. We just had the biggest CrossFit kids program we've ever had this past summer by Adam Ramsden.
Crushed it.
And he absolutely crushed it. And there's a market for after school hours. And right now we have available space in Outlast a couple days per week from 3:30 to 5:30. There are opportunities there that, like we said, we're going to be patient. But the opportunities are there for people, A, to make an impact, B, make some extra money for themselves, and C, follow maybe a dream that they've had for a long time without having to leave their career or leave their family. And I'll tell you what, you have the support of these 4 people sitting here, and you have the support of the CrossFit Bison community that to me right now feels as strong as it's ever been. And it was proven to me. I had one of those moments Thursday morning. We had a CARS member, her car got smashed into during class. It's on camera, everything. Within 5 seconds of us realizing what happened, there were 12 people outside, either ready to take someone out or do anything we could to help the girl out that had her window smashed in. And, we had another member that her son just went through a very serious surgery, and just one post here about some clothes and some support, she was shocked at what was happening. And the place changes over the years a lot. The faces change, but the vibe, the culture, and the foundation of this place is as strong as it's ever been. And because of that, if there's something that you feel you can contribute to this business, we have your back. The community has your back. And I think we can bring it higher than what you ever would imagine. So let's touch on that just for a few minutes, guys. Let's go one by one. Sam, give me something that you think Bison as a business could do. Not saying we're going to do it, but what's something that you feel like, hey, we could probably provide a really good service for the community here?
Whoa. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
You've leaned into the HYROX stuff a lot.
Yeah, I do think HYROX and the popularity of that is going to just grow, and I do agree 100% about the inclusivity, the safe part of it. It's a great adjunct in terms of looking for a goal to pin your fitness on. I feel like what our mission has stayed the same. I mean, being here for over 10 years, the thing that really drives me the most is seeing all the OGs. I love seeing my Merricks and my Joel Trellas and, Hawk and D and all you guys. But then I also see, I just saw someone who has been here for a year. And I was like, you look amazing. What is it? And he's like, I lost 30 pounds. And I was like, doing what? I was like, just CrossFit. I've been coming here for the past year, and I've just gotten more disciplined with everything. And I was like, well, that's why we're doing this. This is exactly why we're doing it. Is it to provide a home for all of our OGs because we have a tight community? Absolutely. But ultimately, it's to make everyone healthier. If I had any of these programs 7, 8, 9 years ago, I wouldn't have had to sit there and be like, oh, wait, is this paleo? Am I supposed to eat this? What am I doing with my, why am I always so stiff? All of these things would have helped me so much 6, 7, 8 years ago. This is what I would have wanted. And so the fact that we're doing these things, my goal is just to keep looking for things that help us, like you said, help our members, help our community. And whatever that is, I'm all in on it. We are in such a better place now than we were 5, 6, 7 years ago. Anyone who says otherwise, I would dare you to show me where that is. And for all the new people that I've gotten to know over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, they're now becoming OGs for me. And so it's just I just love that. And they're becoming a more integral part of it. And I feel like that is what our mission is.
Yeah. Next week we have as of right now, we have the biggest head count ever for the Bison holiday party coming up next. Oh, that's at your house, by the way. D, wrap your thoughts up with where you want this place to go. Because again, you're the guy that's always thinking long-term vision and challenge me in that regard, and I appreciate it. But share a scaled back version of what you give me in terms of what you want, and in regards to the future of Bison.
Yeah, so I think the future is multi-pronged, but for me, CrossFit Kids during the summer solidified it for me. It's like we have parents that come here and work out, and these parents have children ranging from 2-3 years old that sit in the lobby and watch their parents through a window do something completely ridiculous. And then you have parents that have kids that are in college that are coming back home and working out. And I think kind of, like I said before, it's a safe space to bond with your child in a different capacity than you'll experience outside. And Sam, you've experienced this with your children. Mine are 7 years old, so I have no idea how that's going to go. But when you're walking out the door and I say to my daughters, I'm going to the gym, they're like, Daddy, what are you doing there? And
Nothing.
Exactly. Nothing productive. But when I can get them to come to CrossFit Kids, and when I can get them to actually, once they get older, to work out with me, like that to me is the future of community, and community is everything to us.
Yeah, I love the family connection. Sam, you talked earlier about spouses. I think it's more and more common now. You're seeing parents and kids work out together.
Yeah.
Jamie coming with Hovig and Ellie Scher coming with Jen here.
Anthony and Mike.
Yeah, it's a really cool, unique thing.
Yeah.
For me, I would have to go along with the nutrition and recovery. When we went down to beautiful Birmingham, Alabama for the Masters, hearing you speak with them about the longevity to be able to not just compete, but to move your body the way that you want it to for future goals. You have to be able to understand your nutrition and recovery. So whether we're getting a lazy river around the building, inflatable rafts.
Yeah, don't put it past that.
Yeah. But just anything that I would personally want, and then get feedback from members. I don't want to do anything that's a fad where we dive in right away and then 2 years later we're like, no one's using it. I want something that's going to be tested, tried, and proven, that will last and people are enjoying, and I'd rather have people waiting in line to use something like that so we can get more.
Yeah, and I'll wrap it up with saying that I think the last thing that I would love us to approach, and this is, I don't really have a plan for it yet, it's kind of diving into the mental game a little bit more. We've had Rafi come on a little bit with the mindfulness, and I think there's something there with him in particular, but on a macro level, I think there's something there. Just when I listen to people, I try to listen as much as I can now. It's one thing I've tried to change. It's to talk less and listen more. Here I am on a podcast talking, but it's really when I listen to people, I think they are struggling mentally more than they are physically, and they are always related to each other. But if there's a way that we can go down the path of really trying to knock down that hurdle for a lot of people, that's where I think we can make a lot of progress with, is we can get away from just programming physical workouts, but really get into the mind game a little bit. And, it's not us that would do it. We'd find people that are capable, willing, and wanting to maximize that. But, right now it's throwing ideas on the wall, seeing what sticks, and we move forward with it, guys. But I think one thing that everyone needs to understand is that our members have always, currently do, and will always come first. Our goal is always to make things better for them. And there's a lot of moving parts behind that, most of which you guys will never know about. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to trust us. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would ever ask any member from Bison. It wouldn't be for more money. It wouldn't be for more attention. It wouldn't be for a thank you post on Instagram. It would be, can you trust us? Because if you do, we're going to improve your life. And that's I will die on that hill. I will do that for as long as I can live. And I know these guys they've proven that they're doing that for you guys as well. And I hope you are behind us, because we're behind you. All right. Thank you, guys. We will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.